The island of La Réunion is a treasure trove for adventure seekers. But to optimize your trip here, it's important to know where to go. So in this video, you're going to discover the 21 hidden gems on Reunion Island to give you the trip of a lifetime. By the way, I'm Sebastian, I'm a travel guide, and I was lucky enough to have spent over a month here with locals as my guide, showing me their favorite hangout spots, excursions, and eateries. After watching this, I guarantee you'll have unlocked a fortune of unique experiences to explore here. So, let's dive right in.
Vous ne serez pas déçus par la Réunion.
Chances are that after an 11-hour flight from Paris, you're just looking for pure relaxation and sticking your feet in the sand. These first places can all be found in the western part of the island. Not only can you find the most accommodation options here, but also beautiful white sand beaches. And speaking of which, head straight to the beach called Saline les Bains. This is that postcard-worthy white sand beach and longest lagoon on the island. Once you set foot here, you'll feel like you've arrived at your destination. Turquoise waters? Check. Coconut trees? Check. Snorkeling, paddleboarding, kayaking, and whatever other aquatic activities strike your fancy? Check. But what makes this area even better is the fact that you have one of the island's most iconic hotels right here on the waterfront. What I love about the beachfront hotel Le Nautile is the unique beachfront location and Creole atmosphere. It's also a bit of an institution on the island, a place where even some locals go for a hometown escape. It's got everything you need: AC, renovated rooms with balconies, and a generous tropical breakfast buffet. You can lounge by the pool, and a cocktail bar, or out by their beach chairs by the waterfront. But while it may be tempting to stay out here all day, lounging on the beach chairs, getting your teeth tanned, you'd be missing out on one of my favorite places that's rather close by. L'Univers is where your tropical escapism fantasies come to life. Open for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and nighttime drinks, it's got all the elements of what you'd want in a beach bar. Rum cocktails, tiki mugs, bamboo bar counters, and healthy tropical dishes cooked fresh with local ingredients. But in any case, L'Univers is also a great place to meet interesting people. As a cultural space, it regularly hosts events like film screenings or beach cleanups organized by the Surfrider Foundation. So now that you've hopefully gotten a taste of what's in the sea, now's the time to discover what actually awaits you on this island. To say that Reunion has some of the most mind-blowing, psychedelic plants in the world would be an understatement. But before you actually trek out into the tropical rainforest to find them, it would be wise to learn about the many unique and rare plants you're bound to encounter. That's why a visit to the Mascarin Botanical Gardens would be a valuable highlight of your trip. Here, you'll discover countless beautiful specimens showcasing the island's astonishing biodiversity. Trust me, I've been to botanical gardens before, but none of them were like this. Orchids, carnivorous plants, coffea, tropical fruits, palms, cacti, and whatever this is. It's situated on the grounds of a former colonial estate, and you'll navigate through recreations of Reunion's many different ecosystems. But this botanical variety can not only be seen, it can be tasted. The gardens are home to an outstanding restaurant called Le Vieux Pressoir. They serve some of the most innovative and delicious food using fresh local herbs and spices from the Indian Ocean. I'd say that visiting the botanical gardens is worth it just to eat at this restaurant. One of the best meals you can find on this map. But if you want full immersion into the flavors, spices, and ingredients that grow on this island, head straight to the market. At the core of Reunion's exceptional cuisine is its markets. This is where you can see the diverse social fabric of the island: French, Malagasy, Indian, and Chinese. The market is where all these culinary traditions come together and blend into something completely unique and delicious. There's many throughout the island, but the most beloved one is the picturesque waterfront market of Saint-Paul. It's a real festival of colors, flavors, and scents. You can taste fresh lychee, local mangoes and pineapple varieties, chouchou, guava, bourbon vanilla, Madagascar pepper, and whatever is in season. But also street food like these local samosas and artisanal crafts of every kind. It takes place every Friday all day and Saturday mornings. Now, if I were you, I would gather my rations here because you're gonna need them on this epic expedition that I recommend you do tomorrow. Okay, let's change areas. Much of the center of Reunion Island is a protected national park and UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's easy to see why. First stop, the legendary town of Cilaos. It's important to know that Cilaos holds a very special significance. This isolated traditional village can be reached by driving the so-called Road of 400 Turns up into the middle of the island. It used to be a refuge for marooned slaves who managed to escape the sugarcane plantations on the coast. In later years, it continues to attract many visitors seeking out its natural thermal baths and fresh water springs. So, although it's a good place for spa treatments and wellness retreats, you can relax after the expedition. Fill your water bottles, lace up the old hiking boots, pack for a day or two or three, that'll depend, and stash your car at a parking spot in Cilaos and grab a bus to the foot of the Col du Taïbit Pass. It rises over 2,000 meters above sea level. The landscapes and nature make it the memory of a lifetime. On the way, make sure to stop at this makeshift camp called Tisanerie des Trois Salazis to refresh with flower tea and local manioc cakes. The subsequent 4-hour hike will take you through tamarind forests where you can even pick fresh passion fruit out of the trees.
On vient de cueillir une passiflore. C'est un nouveau fruit exotique que j'ai découvert aujourd'hui. Voici la fleur, voici le fruit. Et c'est comme un fruit de la passion et une banane. Alors regarde. Oh. Oh! Ah. Wow.
But it gets even better than that. A cirque designates a giant amphitheater-shaped valley created here by a collapsed volcano. Reunion has 3 cirques, but Mafate is by far the most remote and untouched one. There's no roads, no cars, just pristine rivers, gorges, and unspoiled nature connected to many hiking trails. But you're not completely alone. Completely disconnected from the rest of the world, the tiny little hamlet of Marla has a total population of 70 residents. But despite its small size and not having any roads, it's got its own school, grocery store, and even a little canteen serving coffee, rum, and simple meals to hikers who come here to rest during their expedition. Surprisingly, it becomes a fairly lively meetup spot to hang out with fellow hikers. You know, have drinks, exchange trekking information. You can rent a room or dorm bed in a gîte, which will provide you with solar electricity, warm showers, a roof above your head, and dinner service. Everything you need to recharge. You can stay here a couple of days. There's many different picturesque hiking trails in various different levels and terrain: meadows, forests, plains, rivers, and mountains. But the most popular, the most talked about, the most difficult, and by far the one that'll get you the most street cred amongst the hikers is the ascent to the Piton des Neiges. It's an extinct volcano, the highest peak on not only Reunion Island, but in the entire Indian Ocean, standing over 3,000 meters above sea level. So if you're feeling hardcore, take that as your ultimate challenge. But if you want to go a bit easier and hike up an actual active volcano, head south. No trip to Réunion would be complete without checking out the lively towns and volcanic landscapes in the south. The seaside town of Saint-Pierre is just buzzing with festive energy, thanks to its beachfront hangouts, artistic locals, and young entrepreneurs. I especially love the neighborhood of Terre Sainte, a quaint fishing community with lots of expats and a nice little beach shielded by coral reefs. Which gets us to the most controversial local activity and which has attracted so many people internationally to come to La Réunion: surfing. Réunion is actually a great surfing destination with many epic breaks along its west coast, but
La Réunion pourrait aussi être idéale pour les amateurs de surf si des requins ne rôdaient pas aux alentours.
Réunion does have a bit of a shark situation, which I cover more in another video.
Depuis 5 ans, grâce aux mesures mises en place par les autorités, plus une seule attaque de requin n'a été enregistrée.
But in a nutshell, it's nothing to worry about as long as you take some precautions. The sport has become permitted again in designated safe zones. These are protected by a dedicated shark patrol that has an impressive arsenal of gear to ensure that anyone who wants to ride the waves can do so without becoming a shark's lunch. Seriously, if you're into surfing, I wouldn't let this shark scare deter you. I would refer to the Ride-in-Box surf shop and surf school to get all your up-to-date information. So if you're done surfing the waves, maybe you're into listening to the waves, the sound waves, by checking out this shop. I recommend you go take a walk through the center of town of Saint-Pierre, where you can find lots of great shops, such as the Vinyl Run Record Shop. Here you can pick up some really unique sounds from the Indian Ocean to add some tropical vibes to your wax collection back home. It's so cool to discover these completely unique musical genres from Reunion Island called Saga and Maloya, which locals love and they play it at parties and dance to it all over the island. And speaking of which, this next spot is pure magic. So picture this, Creole dinner by the crashing waves of the Indian Ocean, paired with a live concert that immerses you in the island's culture, flavors, and sounds. If you want to hear Maloya, I would attend a concert at Le Zinin, home of the legendary band Ziscacan. These guys are to Maloya what Bob Marley is to reggae. I would check out their Facebook page for upcoming dinner concerts. And what goes better with good music than a splash of rum? Reunion's only rum museum dives deep into 300 years of sugarcane and distillation history. You can tour the traditional distillery, learn the craft, and taste the rhum agricole and Rhum arrangé, which is a local spiced rum which blends not only spices but fruits of every kind. It's really a Reunion favorite. I think my favorite would be guava and chili, but you can really get experimental and find your own blend. Honestly, every family and restaurant makes their own mixes, and this next family restaurant is most certainly my favorite on the island. This is the type of restaurant I wish I had close to my house. Sure, it may not be the type of establishment that's trending on social media, but that may be a good thing. It's a local favorite and well-kept secret. Chez Ti Luc ticks all the boxes that I look for in a restaurant. Low-key, small menu, zero pretentiousness, and huge focus on traditional quality rather than wasting your time with decor and gimmicks. The setting couldn't be more perfect. It's a small shack with a metal sheet roof, a small shrine, and I think you're quite literally eating Chez Ti Luc, as in at Ti Luc's family, This is the family home. Luc and his wife, who came here from India, opened this little canteen for sugarcane workers who would go have a drink and a home-cooked meal to eat after delivering their harvest to the nearby mill. And many years later, their son runs the show. And the proof is in the pudding, or in the rougail saucisse. Creole classics and special dishes of the day. You can't go wrong, honestly. And since you're now well-rested and well-fed, time to go hike a volcano. When it's not actually in full eruption and spewing hot lava all over the place, the Piton La Fournaise is an absolute must. The drive there is an adventure in itself. You're going to cross the most unique, stunning lunar landscapes with the feeling you're in a science fiction film. Even if you don't want to hike, there's a lookout point from a plateau that's above the clouds for a view that's absolutely surreal. But for the best view and adventure, the hike to the summit is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It typically takes about 6 hours for a round trip. From up here, you can get a view of the whole surrounding island and to the southern coast for a glimpse of the landscape where the lava flow joins the sea, and where I recommend you take your final epic road trip. The wild south coast is a rugged area along a spectacular oceanfront drive, so make it a road trip. To begin your drive, you absolutely have to visit the Langevin Waterfall. It's actually several waterfalls spread across a rocky wall of vegetation and plunging into a large pool of clear, deep blue water. This is the definition of refreshment. The banks of the Langevin River are popular for Sunday picnics, so I really recommend you come here on a weekday. But instead of bringing your own picnic on your way back, I recommend to have lunch with the most scenic view. Le Nirvana Restaurant has the most insane view and location. Perched high above a waterfall, it offers vistas of the ravine, the Langevin River, and the Indian Ocean. The restaurant specializes in 100% local dishes featuring hearty Creole cuisine such as curries, palm heart salad, and vanilla duck. But if you like vanilla, you should get it from the source, and the source is very close. Bourbon vanilla is the treasured export of La Réunion. You can't make it all the way here without picking up some pods for yourself and whoever you love back home. Here at Vanille Escale Bleue, you can pick up award-winning bourbon vanilla pods. You can also go on French guided tours to learn about the incredible 2-year process of transforming vanilla flowers into these rich aromatic pods. And since you're now laden with treasure, the only thing that's missing, the destination of your road trip, is an actual miracle site. Fields of hardened lava have created these surreal landscapes. Cross them along the winding road. Eventually, you'll reach a small historical church called Notre-Dame-des-Laves, Our Lady of the Lava. This is where something unbelievable took place. Right here, in 1977, a lava flow devastated the village of Sainte-Rose, burning everything in its path: the bank, the police station, the supermarket. 1,500 people had to be evacuated. But then, when the lava flow was about to reach the doors of the church, it split in two and spared the church. Thanks to this miracle, you can still visit the church and see the hardened lava that surrounds it. It's quite an impressive sight. But whether or not you believe in miracles, La Réunion is fertile ground for many spiritual beliefs. Not only Catholic, Muslim, Hindu, and Buddhists, but also sorcery and Malagasy death cults. For example, on your way back, there's a beautiful area and a really good restaurant that's being guarded by a woman who's dedicated her life to fighting Satan. Le Cap Méchant, or Evil Cape, no one really knows how it got its name, but it's said the devil used to roam here. Here you'll find a Creole family restaurant amidst its beautiful, lush surroundings, but with an unusual figure roaming the area. You can take a serene walk along the mossy green Cap Méchant, perfect post-meal activity. But sooner or later, you're going to see her, a local celebrity.
C'est la vengeance du diable. Concerne au peuple de Dieu, Rocher, le diable faisait un miracle. Il y a beaucoup de personnes qui sont complices avec le diable dans le monde entier.
La Folle du Cap Méchant, or the Cap Méchant Madwoman, is actually a local figure named Elise, renowned throughout the whole island for her passionate efforts to ward off the devil with prayers and enchantments. She'll quickly begin following you to try to protect your soul or curse you to hell if you don't listen. While it's a bit unsettling, keep in mind that she's benevolent, I think, when she's not cursing you to hell.
Jacques Chirac, Ségolène, Sarkozy, complice le diable.
Surtout Sarkozy.
Bah oui, surtout lui avoir vu ça.
Finally, at the end of the road trip, if you've survived the devil, you can reward yourself by a swim in the Manapany rock pool. It's got calm waters protected from the strong ocean currents and the perfect place to enjoy the wild southern coastline and relax in a peaceful setting before you go. So believe it or not, the locations that we uncovered on this map only scratch the surface. There's so many more unbelievable gems to uncover on La Réunion, which they call l'île intense for a reason. If you've been to La Réunion, or perhaps you even live here, feel free to comment some of your personal favorite tips. So now that you know where to go, the most important question that's left is what to eat. And also the most important things I wish I knew before coming here. So you can check out those videos I made right here. I hope this video was useful, and I'll see you on the next adventure.
Julie, vous êtes adorable. Tu sais ce que ça veut dire, adorable? Ça veut dire digne d'adoration. Adorable.